Hey guys, so Serious Man Toby coming back at you with another analysis. I was met with some pretty surprising feedback, pretty good feedback on my last analysis video. It seems you guys really like these, so of course I'll keep doing them. And on that video, a subscriber actually suggested that I either do May or Gaara, and I'm going to do Gaara because oh my goodness, he is completely underrated. He's a really, really good character, and been itching to really just kind of show people how good he is. Just kind of put him out there in the meta game because I don't like seeing really good characters literally not used in the game um, among competitive play because it just doesn't make any sense to me. You guys are sticking to the bread and butter when there are other characters that are just as good, if not better. So yeah, I'll be doing Gar. Um, let's see. I don't remember the costume that has the Shikaku Awakening. So I don't know. I do know he has that. He also has Sand Shower, which is good as well. So that makes him a really good support. Honestly, he has Charge Guard and Sand Shower. Sand Shower, even though it was nerfed, it can still create situations, and by situations I mean that when you use it, you can still come up to the opponent and create pressure and whatnot. And if they get hit, you can hit confirm off that, things like that. So it's definitely not as autopilot as it was, but still good. Um, Gara. Let's see. Let's see. Where should I start with Gara? In the patch, what they changed about Gara, they changed two things about Gara that I can tell. His combo speed is one, and his tilt and how it works has actually been changed. I'm gonna get into these two things first since they were the first things that were changed. His combo speed used to be like really, really slow. And when you combine that with the fact that other top tiers were really fast and had absurd priority, he could fight the meta, but it was hard because he had slow combos. Like literally, watch this. Let's see. You see how slow I did that string? That's how slow his combos used to be. They used to be really slow, and that was no bueno. Because when you were fighting a Nagato pre-patch, he had all that range, all that speed. It was really hard to keep up. Although one good thing about him is that he has a two-hit infinite, as you can see, like this, and then I was just confirming that he was set to block. Basically, as you guys saw, there's a two-hit infinite, which was really good because when you touch your opponent, you could really maximize your damage easily. And two-hit infinites are good because it's really hard to punish. As you can see, when I do it, I'm jumping, so if my opponent subs, I'm pretty much already safe. It's really easy to react to if they sub because of when they have to sub in order to attempt to punish you. Just a really good infinite to have if you don't have, Sasuke's form of infinite, which is the best form, simply because of how many options it gives you. Enough about that though, onto the tilt. The tilt is really, really good now. The tilt before used to it was pretty good on hit, and on block it wasn't really anything. It was just like, like a little hit on block. But now look at it. Bam. Literally, it literally knocks the opponent down, takes a decent amount of chakra out of them. If you guys can see that, it takes a pretty good amount of chakra out of them, and it's unblockable. And of course you can space it. Has some really good range on it. You can space it right here in this range, which this is a really good range to be able to space something because this is the range you want to be to just kind of have access to all of your options, and then of course if your opponent makes a mistake, dash in or anything like that. So that's good range for something like that to be effective. And they changed it in that now it's unblockable and it does better damage. As you guys can see, messed up. As you guys can see, look at how much damage it does. It literally does as much damage as, or almost as much damage as a combo. Like look at this combo. Look at that. Now compare it to the tilt. It only did like maybe, what is that? Like maybe, I don't know, 3% more. Not that much more percent in terms of damage. So it has been buffed heavily. It is a really good tool. It's definitely one of the better tilts in the game now. Now, aside from that, everything has remained the same with Gaara, aside from his jutsu. I guess I can go over that again. His jutsu has been nerfed. It does literally no damage on guard, as you guys can see. Look at that. Still on blue. Still on blue. This is after 4 jutsus. It's still on blue. It does decent shit, and now it's finally putting on yellow. After about 4 jutsus, it put it on blue before. I believe Sand Shower put the guard on yellow after 1 hit and did better chip than that. Um, and I think the stun was nerfed as well. Yeah, stun was nerfed on it as well. But of course, if you're able to hit them in the air with it, like, let's see. Oh, missed it. If you're able to hit them in the air. I missed it. Anyways, if you're able to hit them in the air, you should be able to confirm into an air combo. So yeah, it was nerfed, but it's still good for pressure. For example, you can switch, get some pressure off like that. It's still good for those kinds of scenarios, so it's not terrible. It's just not autopod anymore, which is a big difference. A lot of people think that just because a jutsu is not autopilot, it's terrible, when that's not the case. It's just that the way the meta is, we tend to gravitate towards supports that are autopilot, meaning that they kind of play themselves. That's another video though. But yeah, it's not autopilot. It's just you have to think about it a little bit more and just work a little harder to see reward with it, which isn't bad. It just makes it a little bit more balanced, so to speak. So that's pretty much it for its changes. In general, Gaara has good pressure against the guard. He has the standard pressure with his up combo. Thanks to his combos being faster, he can space combos in neutral, which is really good. Like, compared to what other characters have in neutral, for instance, this Naruto that I'm playing against right now, literally Naruto can't just start stringing in neutral. He can, but he doesn't get anything off of it. When you play with Gaara and you do this up combo, literally they try to dash you, they get pushed back, and then you can confirm off of that into an air combo. And that's really good when literally very few characters in the game have that option in neutral. In addition to that, it's better to space his up combo in neutral because it can not only complete fully in general, but it has very few gaps for the opponent to dash through, and it has inherent priority. In addition to that, I just want to touch on his guard's priority in general. He hits with the sand, and as you can see where he swings his arm, that's where the hitbox is, like from where his shoulder is, right there, all the way to where that sand is. That's where the hitbox is, and pretty large, as you can see. That's pretty good range and priority to have in general. Like when your first two strings come out really fast like that, and the second string extends just a little bit further, that's really good range to have. And then when you have inherent priority, considering the fact that absurd priority like Nagato and Naruto's was nerfed, that's really good in the metagame. His grab is, still the same. It's still really good. It has really good range, and once it starts, it's gonna grab you out of the dash. And then his projectiles, I think his projectiles might have been buffed. I think they've always been this fast, though. They're pretty much just as fast as Sasuke, Rin, and Sharingan. So that's good. Of course, he has the awakening, which big awakenings are inherently good because of the amount of damage they do, and just the fact of being big in general. And another thing I'd like to discuss is just where I put him in terms of the tier list. If I put him on a tier list, I'd honestly say this guy is probably top tier. And I know that maybe top players might not agree with me on that, but you got to hear me out. You take a character that has priority in a game where now after the patch, priority in terms of combos is literally severed a little bit, because you have the absurd priority, which has now been nerfed. So there are characters that do have pretty good priority, but not quite the priority of Gaara. So you take a character like that, give him speed, so he has really fast starting combos with range and priority. You give him the ability to just pressure your guard pretty well. And then you give him something good in neutral, in that he can space his sand and do this in neutral. A good jutsu, you give him a grab that can literally stop all dashes once it starts, so if he reads a dash, he gets rewarded heavily for it. Give him a pretty good tool to space in the mid-range where it matters most. And did I forget to mention that he's one of the few characters that can literally convert from an air combo to ground combo. Not to mention Gaara has a two-hit infinite, which is the second best form of infinite in the game. And then, of course, taking it a step further, he could infinite off of his down combo as well as ultimate cancel. So Gaara has not only just everything, but a lot of options in general. That's why I think he's top tier. When you start to think about the trend of the top tier characters and whatnot, the trend that they usually have is either something game changing that is very apparent in the meta, or they have literally everything. They have everything. Whereas the lower tier characters tend to be characters that have bits and pieces of what the top tier characters have. I think that if top players really dabble into them, they'll see what I'm talking about. And I think that if they, stop picking Nagato all the time, thinking that just because Nagato was the best pre-patch, he's still the best, that they'll be able to see, well, this character's really good, which he is really good. I feel like he stands a very good chance in the meta. If you're looking for an abnormal, underrated character as of now to play, I highly advise you to try out Gaara. He's a very, very good character in the metagame right now. Very fast, has lots of options. You won't be disappointed when playing his character, trust me. He's just pretty fun to play with in general. So yeah, that's where I feel he stands in the metagame, top tier. My opinion, of course, you can share your opinion in the comment section as well. Maybe you don't feel Gaara's top tier. What do you feel he is in mid tier, bottom tier? I don't know. Anyways, guys, thank you guys for watching. This was fun doing as always. Of course, if you liked the video, leave a like, comment with your opinions and whatnot, and subscribe to stay tuned for more. This is Mysterious Man Toby signing off.